morning, YouTube. Tire Metalhead Weatherman here. Hopefully, you guys are doing well. So, a little crunched on time because equipment isn't working right. So, it's going to be a quick rundown of the latest here. We have now Tropical Storm Harold as it's approaching the southern tip of Texas here off the Gulf Coast. This is currently a storm that's at 45-mile-per-hour winds, very small wind field, so wind damage isn't expected to be significant. But we do have to be leery of flash flooding today and a threat for tornadoes as we go throughout the day today before the storm moves out of the area by overnight tonight. So one thing to keep an eye out for, like I said, is flash flooding potential. Do have a slight risk issued for that, by the way. That does include Corpus Christi, Laredo, and Brownsville. By the time we get to day 2 and day 3, the threat's just about over at that point. Do have to watch the southwest in the coming days with this as well, even though the flood threat at that point will be marginal. Combined with monsoonal flow, this could definitely increase the shower and thunderstorm activity towards areas like Arizona and New Mexico. But that being said here, as far as the winds are concerned, wind field pretty small at this point. Tropical storm force winds, of course, no hurricane force winds since this is barely a tropical storm to begin with. But the arrival time of tropical storm force winds, this will be at about 8 a.m. today. So this is going to be heading right onto the coastline, and then by 2 p.m. the strongest or reasonable time of tropical storm force winds by this point, because I think by this point it'll be a depression. It'll be going through areas like Laredo by about 2, and then mostly going to be heading south of the border by 8 o'clock tonight. Like I said, wind field is small, so this is not going to be a long duration event. Plus the storm motion itself, it's at 18 miles an hour, so this is not a slow mover at all. It's going to be in and out pretty quick from the looks of it. So as far as rainfall is concerned, mainly seeing areas south of the border getting a lot of action here, but there are a couple of hot spots here towards the southern half of Texas here that could see up to maybe even 4 to 6 inches of rainfall. Widespread 2 to 4 inch of rainfall amounts are expected though, so we do have to keep an eye out because, of course, with most thunderstorms from tropical entities, there are pockets where you can get isolated heavier rainfall totals, whether it's per hour or overall. And then, of course, last but not least, just like with any landfalling tropical system, there is a tornado threat, and there is a 2% marginal risk that's been issued for today. And also, even as far as the western half of the U.S. here towards Salt Lake City and Cedar City, there's actually a 2% area there too. We'll see what ends up happening with that. We've had plenty of no tourist days that have produced tornadoes too, so if you happen to be under a general thunderstorm risk, you always have to keep a close eye out. As far as other areas towards the Great Lakes, which was anticipated to be a hotspot with our setup here, main threat with today's setup over towards Green Bay and Marquette is going to be hail, by the way. But as far as Harold is concerned, main threat, of course, would be some strong wind gust, maybe a couple of tornadoes at best. But we'll see how things go with that setup. As far as the wind field, we'll take a look at the 850s here. And you can see that there's a couple of pockets right here that kind of piqued my interest over here. I'm going to mark this out for you really quickly, right around here. So definitely need to be keeping an eye on this region here. This will be just north of Corpus Christi. I think that's where the greatest likelihood of tornadoes is going to exist. Also verifies at the other levels of the atmosphere as well. Looking at the 500 millibar, that little area seems to really ramp up here too, where we're looking at about 60 knots. 500 millibars is about, I would say, 35,000 feet. I have to look back and remember the exact number for that, but this is also towards the mid levels of the atmosphere at 700. And you can see pretty much a similar deal going on there. So like I said, anywhere north of Corpus Christi, the rainfall threat may decrease slightly, but the tornado threat will actually increase. So make sure we're staying weather aware in those areas. And of course, any areas where the circulation is going to be closer to you, keep an eye out for rainfall, storm surge, albeit pretty weak. We'll be dealing with 1 to 3 feet in storm surge here. And of course, flash flooding. But that being said, short video this morning. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, you know what to do. Hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and also face kick that share button. I'm trying to figure out spicier ways to say this, but anyway, I gotta get going. I'm already dressed up for work, so that's gonna be that. But this has been Tyre, Metalhead Weatherman. You guys take care, have a good day, and I'll see you later.